è imprevedibile e le cose non sono mai scontate, quindi è anche la bellezza, no, di questo sport.
Io rappresentavo per questa squadra, era quello che non mollava mai, quello che doveva fare stare sempre su il morale, ma io mi ci trovavo bene perché sono sempre stato uno che mi piaceva dare fuoco ai miei compagni, caricarli prima delle partite.
Il mio sogno che si è avverato è uno dei sogni dei bambini, di tanti bambini.
È un qualcosa per la gente che riusciamo a fare diventare matti, riusciamo a fare diventare felici e contenti.
Con questa maglia devo veramente fare una performance diversa perché sto rappresentando uno dei club più grandi al mondo.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, everything in between in 2025, how are you doing? It's your host Shane from Milanistis 360, rocking it here in Malaga with, I guess, co-hosts, presidente, runner, creator of Milanistis 360, the person to blame, Husney. Husney, how have you been, man? You've had a hell of a week.
Yeah. Really sticking up in terms of pushing the Red Bird out agenda all the way here in the East, along with fellow Milanisti wherever I could find them. So it's been an interesting week that we'll speak about in today's spot as a special for Milanismo East.
Yeah, so that's fair. So just to recap, so Husney, you were at who did we play last? Who did we play first? Arsenal.
Yeah, we played. Well, other than the ghost of our past, we played Arsenal, which is the real team. So that was the start of our preseason, if you can call it. So before this, if I'm not mistaken, they were essentially playing against the Futuro internally, doing their rounds ever since Allegri took off. So for those who are not too aware, the game was held in Singapore, and that is part of Singapore's Festival of Football. So they have Newcastle, Arsenal, and us within the same week. But Arsenal stayed on, I think, for the full week. We came on the Tuesday, played on a Wednesday, left for Hong Kong on the Thursday. So on Thursday, and as everyone knows, they played quite recently in Hong Kong. Big win. We'll speak about that as well. But I guess in terms of the focus, and I'll have some photos to share with you guys. What has happened? When I was there.
Nice one. All right, let's dig into it, man. What you got for us?
All right. So yeah, just a bit of geography for those who aren't aware. So where I am here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, we're not too far from Singapore, so it was about a 3.5 hour drive from Kuala Lumpur to the border. So I stayed on the Malaysian side and I drove in. It's not that far, yeah, for those who are not too aware that Singapore city, island, state. So if you stay on the Malaysian side of the border, it'll take you about 40 minutes to drive from the border to the stadium itself. So yeah, that's where I went. And for those who haven't been as far east and to Singapore, great place. I think one of the most developed places, at least in Asia, but if not the world. You'll find great melting pot of cultures, people who came, and that's why there are a lot of events are being held there. So some of the highlights, I guess, for us in Asia is that you always find some big gigs in Singapore. That being said, I will dwell a little bit into it. Footballing wise, it's maybe not too great. I don't know whether it's because of the teams or whether it's because it's midweek. Keep in mind that if you were to have one of these events at the weekend, I think the turnout would be much better. But they decided to have it on Wednesday. I honestly don't know why. Maybe the organizers of the event didn't catch on to it, say that maybe they might be able to increase their revenue if they had it on weekend, but they reserved that for Arsenal against Newcastle. So that's being played on Friday night, if I'm mistaken. Friday night or on Saturday. And that is a bigger draw. So historically, I think people might be aware.
You always want the big teams to play at the weekend. It's the teams that finish eighth in Syria. They can play in the midweek games, man. That's kind of where we're at.
But it's not only that, and this is another testament really to acknowledge the fact that Premier League is a big brand. So wherever you go, I think in this world, is that you're bound to see supporters of a EPL team. Unfortunately, that was us many years ago. Now it's no longer us. So I think that's in addition to, yeah, Singapore, Malaysia, we being former British colonies and whatever you call it, protectorates. I don't know what is the
Do they
politically
speak
correct term.
English there, or
Yeah,
they do? Yeah.
it's about the same as here. Yeah? Well, a brief history lesson. Singapore used to be part of Malaysia for about 2 years. I think it ended in 65 or 67. So that's a fun fact. So yeah, culturally, linguistically, is we about the same. And but what you would find, and I'll go through in terms of the pictures, is that there still is quite a big following of our dear club, but it is, in my opinion, not much weighted towards Singapore or Malaysia. Actually, coming from Indonesia, I was told that actually AC Milan played in Indonesia many years ago, back when we were in the heyday. So that was early 2000s, I think. If someone is aware, can correct us in the chat or in the comments. We would love to hear about it. But yeah, that's where really the passion for a lot of these Indonesian fans come from, and it's great. And well, Shane, I'll go through some of the photos.
Mhm.
All right, let's kick into it. Okay, let's share this. So for those who are listening to us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, so this is a picture of, yeah, the scene. So what you can see here, and I took this on my action cam, because it's got a wide angle lens. You'll be able to see that very much many more Arsenal supporters. So when I arrived, and that was about, so the game was at 7:30. So I arrived there about 4:30, almost 5 o'clock, and Pato and Serginho had just come up. So yeah, this is the angle, and on the left you'll be able to see the you see that building, the small little booth on the left. So that is actually the AC Milan merchandise store. So what they had there, they had the special tour T-shirt. They had the 125th anniversary jersey. They had the new kit, of course, and some other smaller merchandise that I assume they were clearing out the stock, however, not at discounted rates. So you can probably get the same merchandise at discount on the AC Milan store. However, here they decided to really make money off the fans, and yeah, some fans bought it. Yep, this is another view on the crowd. That's myself, and you won't see it, but behind
I
me actually
see
is
a
where
Belgium
Coutinho.
jersey, Husney. Did you
Yeah,
wear that fucking monstrosity to the game? You did. You did.
I did. I
Oh
did.
no.
They try to blend in both sides for Arsenal fans and us. And yeah, this is another shot of the crowd. This is a shot of the actual stadium. So this is a national stadium in Singapore. I believe the capacity there is about 50, maybe 50 to 60,000. It's a nice stadium, by the way. And the area itself is quite nice. And this is another shot where you see the lions. So that's the Singapore, I believe, their national animal there. And this is a picture. This is quite interesting. This is the you could say the equivalent of the kurva suit, Indonesia style. So before the game, and we'll show some clips in quite a bit. They were chanting. They brought the drums, and I think this is where I really have to say it. Yeah. So I've been to quite a number of overseas games. By what I mean overseas is that these are games played outside of Italy, tend to be friendlies. I've been to Super Cups, of course. But in terms of the atmosphere, the noise, they're actually coming from our side, the AC Milan side. So you would have these Indonesian Milanisti, big shout out to them. They're great. They bring a lot of the atmosphere. Even the Arsenal fans were taking photos and videos because we don't have to number that many. But in terms of making ourselves heard and loud, that really plays a big part into it. Really establishing who we are, and then we shouldn't really be messed with. We'll talk about that part when we speak about the
It's how
results.
you indoctrinate young kids into this shit show of a club in 2025 because what's happening on the pitch can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's me. That's me in front of the stadium. Sorry for a lot of selfies, but yeah, this is me, and just show the stadium. Me with the crowd. So yeah, I was sitting in the away end, and that's the mascot. I don't know what you call him, Diavolo. I don't know what devil or whatever his name. And this is a clip where Pato and Serginho were signing.
Did you ask Pato how Barbara was?
Pato and Serginho. So yeah, it's not so clear, but they're behind there.
That's pretty cool. Is Pato still playing?
I was thinking the same. I thought he was playing in Brazil, but I guess if he's doing this, he's not. He must have retired, I think.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Angelo.
I don't know.
Sorry, man. Didn't see you there. But Angelo, do you know, is Pato still playing? Does anyone in the chat know if Pato's still playing? Dude, because I'm sure he was in Brazil last time I checked.
Oh, sorry.
That's why you should have asked him
And
how
this-
Barbara was, because, you know, that's the kind of
Sorry, can
question
you hear
you'd
it,
really-
Shane?
I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. No, you can hear the video, right?
I can hear the video, no? That's pretty cool. Look.
Yeah, I'm sorry if you can't hear the video, but yeah, this is the Indonesian Milanisti here.
That's pretty cool. Respect.
And I guess just before we talk about the game, I must really applaud them for this display. If you guys didn't know, they brought out the banner Maldini equals identity, and we use it as a thumbnail for this pod.
That's ultimate respect, though. I mean, to say that they can get away with that in Indonesia, but they can't get away with it in their own home stadium, that kind of tells you all you need to know about the ownership, right?
And this is a view of the stadium from the away end, which is our supporters
It's a
end.
beautiful stadium. It's got that really annoying thing, though, where, you know, when you're like ridiculously far from the pitch.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, you feel a bit distant from it. It's the one thing that annoys me about the, you know, the multi-purpose stadiums, because that looks like it has a running track around it and stuff.
Yeah, maybe I get why they do that. Is that well, for other stadiums you would have that ditch, right? You'd have that moat. Well, if you try to jump the barrier, you end up maybe falling about 20 feet with just to break your ankles. So they don't have that. You could have jumped the a streaker could have jumped that barrier. Actually, made a dash for the pitch. Of course, in Singapore, you'd be arrested.
Shout out to Lab Gorilla. Thanks for joining us, man. Phenomenal piece yesterday by Lab Gorilla, I have to say. That was great.
Yeah.
In Italian. Who knew?
Great, and do catch that episode.
Milan's based in Italy. I'd completely forgot. But it was a great piece in Italian. Shout out to Gennardi. Gennardi is saying, Pato is still playing with Sao Paulo.
Well, he's allowed to do some part-time work to promote the club, right?
That's it. That's it. I mean, Pato is one of those ones where it's such a shame what happened to him because, you know, barring injuries, I mean, he was, you know, I still think he was going to be a world-class player, but it's just the injuries got up to him. Yeah. Special shout out to Serginho
what could it
too,
be?
man. He was phenomenal. Love Serginho.
You know what gets me is that maybe I'm assuming too much is that Serginho well, he can't speak English, and him being Brazilian, he didn't even speak Portuguese during the interviews. He actually spoke Italian. So big up to him, man. You know, he's really keeping it, you know, the spirit of the country with him. Yeah. So that was great to hear. And funnily enough, Pato was doing translating because Pato, yeah, he can speak English, Italian, and Portuguese, of course.
Interesting. All right. So how long?
Okay.
So you went to watch the game. What was your? So I have to be honest. Watching the game, obviously remotely, as I did. Um, the atmosphere didn't seem as good in the Arsenal game compared to the next game that we'll talk about afterwards, the Liverpool game. How did you find it?
Yeah. So, well, I was in the Milan supporters, and so with the again, I can't say this enough to the Indonesian fans who came, uh, and yeah, it's not really a easy flight for these guys as well, timing wise and all that. So a big shout out to the supporters. They really created the atmosphere. So if you can see it, and the club actually uploaded the full game to YouTube, you can see that they unfurl. Um, what do you call it? Where they unfurl the big painted. It's not a banner.
But it's
Um,
not a tifosi, is it?
yeah,
Or
I know what you call it. You know where you.
I know
Yeah,
what
that
you mean.
artwork you unfold the
I
big.
can't
Yeah,
remember the
yeah.
name. That I can't remember
So
what they call it.
so
Yeah.
so they and that's on so that's on YouTube. That was impressive, and I really can't say this enough. Going to several games, you don't see this with every club. Every club they might have a lot of supporters, but to me they look more like the casual supporters. But for us, is leagues different. So big shout out to them. They brought the drums in. They're able to provide the tifo. Thanks,
Tifo, sorry,
Lab
Tifo.
Gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they bring in the drums, so they created the atmosphere, the chants, they kept it going. So yeah, I mean, in the absence of a curva from Italy coming, they're it, yeah, they're it when in this part of the world.
Can the Indonesian lads fly to the San Siro every game this year, because they're going to be sorely needed in place of the the Corvette that can't go. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bad joke.
Maybe they'll have to work out an arrangement, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the level effort. But just to answer the question of what you said, Shane, is that it, you know it, yeah, you know it because I said it even during our WhatsApp in our WhatsApp group. So for those by the way, let's plug it a little bit. For those who want to join our WhatsApp group, do drop us a DM on Instagram or even on YouTube. You can even put it in the comments, and we'll add you to our
Or
WhatsApp
on
group.
X.
So
X, Milanese
yeah,
360 and all three.
yeah. So yeah, to join us there. The stadium wasn't full. It was nowhere near full. It's only about 20 plus thousand. So we're talking about a capacity of less than 50%. That wasn't a great showing. So there have been some Instagram channels that I've actually pointed this out, and I thought that was quite embarrassing. To us, it didn't seem so bad. I mean, we have our own reasons for it, but many people were making fun of Arsenal for that fact. And this is another funny anecdote on the side: is that the next day I went to McDonald's and I was wearing the AC Milan jersey, and there was this guy in the McDonald's queue. He asked me whether I went to the game, and I said yes, I did. And he was very happy to talk about the game. He wasn't a Milan supporter; he was actually a Chelsea supporter. So he said he was there too. So what you would find is that there are many other London club supporters who went to the game just to watch. It didn't happen, of course, but they wanted to see Arsenal lose. So big shout out to them as well. You can find our brothers in arms from other clubs as long as it's against an opponent.
Little did that poor fucker know that they were playing Milan in 2025, so there's no way. There's no way. Yeah,
So yeah, they're playing a mid-table club from Italy.
there we go.
It might as well be a Torino or Udinese, right?
That's it. So did you?
All
So
right.
I'm trying to even remember the result, dude. I can't even remember who scored for Arsenal.
It was Saka,
Saka, was it?
Bukayo Saka.
Because I remember watching. I was just oh. I mean, even John was sharing stats, right, of the game as it was going on, right? Like, even the amount of Arsenal shots on goal, like, and it's just compared to ours, we were doing nothing, only trying to counter. It's proper
Yeah.
Allegri
So
ball. I get it, but like, we weren't even countering
well,
effectively.
it worked the second time, which we will speak about it.
Yeah, true.
But on the first time, and I guess for those who maybe haven't been to a game in a while, I didn't have the best view. So being that low in the stands and behind the Milan goal, you don't really get a good view of the action. So maybe for future games, I might want to sit a bit higher and towards the middle where you get a better view of the game. But it did really look like we were trying to absorb the pressure, and maybe as a training game of sorts, you might want to just experience that against. Let's be honest about it. Arsenal is a high level team. They can be competitive, even though they didn't win in the Premier League. They are competitive there, yeah. So they can. I think anyone who would put it down for Arsenal to be second place or even top three, yeah, top four maybe with this team of Arsenal and the level of investment that they're making in the club, they're shoe in for Champions League football in the Premier League, whereas we're not.
We're money balling in a broke ass league. That's the thing. Arsenal are money
Yeah.
balling in the Premier League, which they'd still outspend every team in Serie A twice over. You know.
Yeah.
Shout out
So
to Max
I had to watch.
as well. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, hi Max. So I had to watch the game again on YouTube just to get it. So one of some notable things that I pick out, it's different not seeing Theo there. Yeah? So we're so used to seeing Theo as a left back and starting, and we expect that explosive energy. Bartizagi is not the same player, so we've known that. But for me, really to absorb that and try to get used to the fact that you won't see someone bombing forward on the left hand side, it's gonna take some getting used to. Liao, as usual, with his explosive speed. Maybe because we didn't play with the striker, so P was trying to do two roles at once and trying to take everyone on, and that's why we had some chances, but the chances didn't end up in the back of the net. Other than that, Richie, I'm still on the fence about Richie. Maybe it's his first game. Some people said he did well. Maybe because we lost the game, I don't really want to take it that far. Salmakers, I'm not sure about how Salmakers will be in this system. So the formation was 4-3-3. We've played this formation before, even before Allegri. It works sometimes. Against Arsenal, it didn't quite work. Granted, first pre-match game, preseason game, maybe everyone's still getting rusty with the tactics and all that. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna need a formation where Liao can use can be put to use good use in the sense of him being able to find the space, being able to make the runs. But other than that, I really hope we get some more reinforcements. So Pulisic was there. We didn't have Mike.
Do you know what I think is going to be interesting with Ricci, right? And I think this is going to be because they kind of populate the same area of the pitch. So comparing him to Benacer, right? Remember when Benacer was on top form, right? Like he was basically playing a blinder every game, right? Even during the Scudetto season, right? People very rarely talked about Benacer, right? And for a player in his position, that's good because the fact you're not talking about him means he's doing nothing really flashy. He's just doing his job, which is to get the ball and recycle it. And he's doing it very effectively and he's breaking up attacks. It's not pretty to look at, but it's functional and you need it in the team. So when I'm looking at Ricci, right, that's what I'm going to be looking for to see are people talking badly about him? Or if are people actually just not talking about him? If people aren't talking about him, that's when I'll know Ricci is probably doing a good job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, if they are talking about him, I hope it's in
Or
in
positive
terms
way.
of a goal or assist.
Yeah.
Not because he's got a red card, right?
Yeah, true. Or he gets a
But there's one thing that
career-ending injury against Inter Milan in the fucking Champions League because he was basically overplayed by this fucking club. But anyway.
Yeah, but then we now have to look forward at these things, and we don't have any European football. So this same team, you really have to put your best 11 every single week because that's all you got, right? You got one game a week.
Yeah, but
You have to wonder what excuses does this team have?
Hosni though, like even talking about that, right? And look, we seen last season how positive that was for Napoli, right? But it's typical of this fucking football team. Like Allegri doesn't have a starting 11. He doesn't have a starting
Yeah.
11 equality, right? Because I mean, you know, I know Teo was off the boil for the last 2 years or so, but he's gone. Rangers is gone. Right. So what you're hoping is that Estupinian, right, comes in, plays a blinder. Obviously, Moneyball players or not, any player that comes in, I want to see the best for that player, right? Because that helps us and that's positive, right? But the fact is that we're hoping that these Moneyball players that are coming in can actually be functional, which that's a fucking assumption and a half, right? We're assuming then that Shishari can come in. We're assuming that Ricci can, play well. We're assuming that whoever our right back that we do end up getting can play well. I don't see Salamakers in that position for the rest of the season. I think it's he's
Yeah.
not a defensive-minded player. We don't have a backup striker. We're we're kind of doing that really fucking annoying thing that just we always do, which is we're doing just enough so that we can potentially qualify for the Champions League again.
Or Europe. Yeah.
That we're doing just enough, but it's like, could we not even just I don't know, do a bit more and try and push for a title? You know?
Well, Shane, you're treading dangerous ground there. Don't get your hopes up. Talking about title at this stage with this team,
No, but you
I
do.
would love to talk about title chances. Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that's apologies. Can you hear background noise?
Your washing machine, I think.
It's my washing machine. Fuck my life. Okay. All right. So I'll try and say my piece and then mute up. So, but the thing though, Husney, is that like Napoli last season, right? While they lost one or two key pieces, right? They've still strengthened really well in the transfer window. And what I'm saying is if we could even make an attempt at strengthening well, right? You never know what could happen. But the thing is even if we try and strengthen, I mean, who are you strengthening with, right? I mean, Estupinian doesn't excite me. Ricci doesn't excite me. Jashari, I can only go by what Kim is saying in the chat. Kim is a good eye for these things, right? And if he's saying Jashari isn't a special player, then Jashari doesn't really excite me either. Right? Whoever we're going to get for a right back doesn't excite me. We're talking about trying to go for Vlahovic for half the salary. I mean, that would be somewhat. I'd be somewhat excited about that deal, but like the rest of them, just you know, and all you're doing is keep in mind you're still missing the best midfielder that Serie A had last season, and you're missing Teo on the left hand side. So these players that are coming in they have to fill like some very big fucking holes that are left in the squad, and I don't think it's. I think the only thing that's going to save this season is not the quality of the team. It's just going to be basically how well Allegri can effectively use the team. Do you know what I mean? And that's such a shame.
Yeah. You're right, Shane, and I'll pick up some points that I completely agree with you. And I went too far as during while watching the game. I looked at these players, for example, like Ricci and the formation that he's played with before. So anyone in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but Torino, they don't play Allegri ball. Yeah, they don't play that defensive style. And in terms of their formation, I saw a bit of 4-4-2. I even saw some 3-5-2 in terms of the Torino style of play. So it's a big ask, and no doubt Ricci is talented, but it takes a lot to do exactly what Allegri hopes for you. And our existing team, you can't just automatically switch on saying, okay, we're playing this level of football, because we saw it with Fonseca. It is difficult to break that mold when you've been playing 4-2-3-1 for many years over. And does anyone remember that even when Conceição, uh, okay, I don't know what comment that is, and And even when Conceição came in, he tried the 4-3-3, and we gradually started to return back to the 4-2-3-1, right? So again, these players that come in, it's a tall order to ask for them to immediately switch this on and say that, okay, we're playing Allegri ball, we're going to hit them on the counter attack, and this is what's going to happen. Uh, I can already foresee it because we saw it quite a bit in the game. Partizagi, defensively, I think he's okay. The kid is trying, yeah, no doubt. But the opposition is going to be tough. Chow and Tomori. I'm sorry, Tomori to me, he's lost a bit of his credit. Not say a bit even. He's lost quite a lot of his credibility over the past few years. I honestly wouldn't mind if he was sold. Chow, yeah, not bad, but he's also not great. And if we saw from the first half of the game against Arsenal, Gabia, who I think is our best defender, and when I say best, it's the best that we've got. Yeah, he's not the best defender in the league or anywhere near that. But uh, I honestly struggle to see how these players would play in that system. But then again, maybe we'll speak about it in just a few more moments about the Liverpool
think
game. So there are some flashes there that maybe we can probably give us some hope.
I think QTR might have mentioned there. I think QTR might have meant to say then who excited me. Maybe that was on about my rant about the transfers. What excited me with
Okay.
Milan? Royale getting sold.
I was just about to say that the players that are leaving more than
That's it.
the players that are coming
It's
in.
yeah. It's I'm more interested in and and hopefully Musa goes and hopefully Pavlovic. Swap Pavlovic with Leone so we can basically swap a fucking KGB assassin for a somewhat hopeful, good young Italian footballer. I never want to see Pavlovic play for us again, but Anton is 100% correct there. They really need a strong centre back. To be fair though, Husney, just with your comments on Tomori, right? I agree with what you're saying. The last couple of seasons, he's lost an awful lot of credit, right? However, this is now the era of Allegri ball, right? So, things can change. Because I was never. This is an unpopular opinion, but Bonucci, right? With that really strong Juventus backline, with him, Chiellini, and Barzaghi, right? I think an awful lot of the time, Chiellini and Barzaghi made Bonucci look 10 times the player he was, right?
Maybe Bonucci, you mean?
Bonucci, yeah. So I think
Yeah.
Chiellini and I'm sure it was Barzaghi. Barzaghi was remember in that back three that they had playing, but so it was Bonucci, Chiellini, and I'm fairly sure it was Barzaghi.
I don't remember. I just remember Bremer came in. I don't know who he took over
But
from.
those two players, Chiellini and the other players, I can't remember. I think they made Bonucci look good. So I mean, if Allegri starts kind of doing something similar, right, could be making Tomori look good, man.
Yeah, maybe. But if Tomori had it in his locker, he could have showed it to us a lot more often than maybe the once or twice that we saw in the past few seasons.
But to be fair, right, I think there's no. I'm not saying I'm pro Tomori, right, but I'm not as anti as some people. Because if you look at it this way, right, if you don't have a midfield in front of you that has no concept of what actually defensive plays, you'll get ran through quicker than an OnlyFans model. Do you know what I mean? So the thing is I know I've used that before, but I like that one. So the thing is if, and I think Moynihan has suffered from the same issues, right? Because a lot of people were kind of saying last season, "Oh, sell Moynihan. Moynihan is shit," right? But the thing is he's getting shot at. It is Barzagli, right? Thank you, Gennardi. But if you're getting fucking shot at, if you're getting shot at fucking God knows how many times a game because there's no one in, the midfield that's actually trying to break up play and they're just running straight at the defence, Tomori's going to suffer and Moynihan has suffered. So, I mean, you can't look good in that environment.
Yeah, but even the reinforcements to our midfield. By the way, it's only been like one reinforcement to our midfield, right? We only had Richie.
Modric.
Bondo is still around. Oh yeah, my god, forgot about
Yeah.
him. Modric. I don't know if we can actually pull this off. It's tough. I just don't see it. That I guess. Long story short, I just don't see it being pulled off. There's a lot of hope amongst fans because any change is welcome, especially with this team. But I'm not really seeing that chemistry and how we're going to gel together in the sense that we can stop the rush of attackers coming towards us, be able to fight it in that middle third, uh, really be able to put the pressure in our third and recover the
I
ball
do
with a strong counter attack.
think with Anton's comment though as well, right? So tomorrow needs to be sold and replaced with Leone. I'd rather Pavlovic goes.
Rather than both go, if you know what I mean.
No, because but the thing is, I'm saying, ideally, I'd prefer if we had 11 of the best players in the world on the pitch at any one time, right? But you know what I mean? Just like being purely realistic, right? Because the thing is, I think Tamori is a bit more defensive solidly than Pavlovic is. I think Pavlovic is very error prone.
Yeah, but I would say the same for Tomori. I mean, the mistakes that
true as well,
Tomori
actually, yeah.
has made leads to red cards and penalties. This is what worries me about this guy.
That's
It
also
isn't
true, yeah.
the occasional slip and being slow. I mean, yeah, that's him as well. But
That's true. And when Tamori does fuck up,
some mistakes are deadly.
but you see, this is why I think the Allegri ball will help him a bit because there's going to be more players behind the ball at any one time. Because where you screw Tamori up is if you play the ball in behind him, he's lost. But if you run at him with the ball,
He's not the type of player that can chase with the ball. It's
exactly.
not going to happen.
He used to be, right? But he's not anymore, right? But so the thing is if he's not getting those cheeky balls played in behind him because they're playing that bit deeper because Allegri ball, right? He's not going to get found out as much.
Yeah, but then again, to have that fast center back, and I hate to say this, yeah. Even though, oh my god, I almost forgot. I'm forgetting his name. Kalulu. Even though Kalulu wasn't the fastest, I would put my money on Kalulu to run after run after the attacker.
That's
Then
true.
tomorrow.
And Dan does have a good point. Tamori is here for over 6 years. We're seeing no progress. I think what we're seeing is you're right there, and then I think we're seeing that kind of decline in the player. But then as well, what puts the fear of God into me is seeing Pavlovic like in the center of any defense because I don't think he's a football player. I think he's about on par with fucking Musa. Doesn't look good in anything he does. Doesn't look comfortable. Doesn't has a good attitude, right? Like he does get stuck in, right? I can't fault him on that, but he's
too stuck in, maybe.
Too stuck in, yeah. If we're complaining about Tamori for getting red cards, let's check back at this time next season when Pavlovic has been sent off like 4 times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Morning,
well,
or afternoon rather.
Yeah. But if you saw the rest of the game, Shane, what would you say about our attack? Because we did have some chances, by the way. What were some thoughts about Salmakers? Because he was feeding the attack a little bit.
I don't see the reason why Allegri is keeping Salamakers. I don't think he's going to fit in the system well. I know why Milan fans, including myself, would want to keep Salamakers because he played well at where is he? Bologna first and then Roma, right? And he's done really well.
Yeah.
And I think he's becoming a solid player.
Not well enough to be bought, but
yeah, no, I think he's becoming a solid player, right? And he's definitely a good backup, a good utility player. But I don't see him fitting in well with Allegri somehow. I don't think he's the type of player Allegri wants. So that being said, I think for Salamaker's career, I think he should just leave.
Yeah, well, he's still some value.
And I don't like, I don't see Salamakers as as a functional player in a Allegri team. I mean, I could be wrong here, but that being said, in terms of the other players in our attack, I mean, who do you want to talk about, right? Keep in mind it is a friendly, right? We being Milan, right? We only have half of a squad anyway compared to professional football teams. And then, we're taken to the pitch against these guys without a striker because I don't know, Jimenez has had too many fucking tacos or something on his summer holidays and he's not fit. So, I mean, what do you make of it really? I mean, who else you want to talk about? Fucking RLC, Prime Kaka, fucking showing up there.
I did want to bring him up. So, what were your thoughts about Ruben Loftus-Cheek? I mean, strangely enough, these are the sort of players that will wait until the season starts, only then get injured. But for the preseason, they seem to be very much active, right? Ruben Loftus-Cheek is s- maybe seems to be a player that Allegri thinks can be useful
Yeah.
in the midfield.
So, but here's the thing, though. So if we start talking
He
about,
carries the ball, no doubt. He can carry the ball to the final third.
yeah, but he's doing that. You see, but he's doing that against Premier League teams, right? And the thing is you have to ask yourself, like, how much space is he going to get in the Serie A? And you know yourself, he's not gonna get that much space to be doing that, right? And doing that consistently. I don't think RLC is a functional player at Milan just because of the injury history being one. Two, the league that we play in. I don't think he's suited to the league. I think he should be sold. Of course, the problem is when you say sell a player in Milan, right? You're also shitting yourself because you're hoping that Forlani and Co actually get in a decent replacement. But the thing is, they rarely do. I don't. RLC is not a player for the Serie A. I don't see him.
Okay,
I don't see him of any benefit to this
I,
team.
I I'm not defending RLC, but if you look at the team and how we're built, he's probably our our most physical player in the midfield. That's how I put him. I mean, he's tall. It's difficult to push him over. I would rate RLC higher than Musa, and Musa's not really anywhere near even the middle of the bar here. Uh, so in terms of the sequence of who I would prefer to see go, I would actually want Musa to go first. Then if you can get anyone better, than Musa, then RLC. But I don't know. Maybe when Modric comes, RLC just that backup. Maybe this is why he's being used so much. Okay, so let's move on to the Liverpool game. All right, so after the match in Singapore, the team went on Thursday. They flew to Hong Kong. I'm a bit surprised that the match went ahead. I had my money a little bit because of the weather that the game might be cancelled. So it was raining during the training session, but yeah, that still went on. I guess because fans paid for it. But for the game, that was rather interesting. So we came off with a 4-2 win over Liverpool, keeping in mind that Liverpool, they're a great team. No one can deny that. Yeah. So they're a great team in the Premier League. You would expect them to do well also in the Champions League. Uh, Again, as to come back to this, it is still preseason friendly. You can't really say that that's the Liverpool that goes into game one of the EPL. But we managed to pull off a win, and some of the goals that we scored, you have to admit they were nice goals, and you could actually see the Liverpool defenders still chasing for it. Yeah. So, what were your thoughts about the game, Shane?
Um, Sorry. How bad is the washing machine right now? Doable.
It's Redbird. It's Redbird level.
It's Redbird level.
We can live with
Okay, all right. I
it.
think it should be nearly be finished now. Also, shout out John. What will finish first, this episode or the universe, when a new black hole is created by my washing machine? So what I hope will happen is the universe that's created will essentially spawn an even better player than Rade Krunic, which we all know is unlikely and impossible, but still, Shane's time machine. Yeah. I wish I could go back to when this fucking club was actually decent. Um. Anyway, all right. So my thoughts on the Arsenal game, or sorry, on Liverpool game.
Liverpool. Yeah.
Liverpool game. So first thing was the crowd were far more like it was exciting to watch because of the crowd. I think even on both sides, you could tell that the fans were well up for it. Um, loved the score line. I mean, considering it was a friendly, and I would much prefer to see that in the Champions League final, the same scoreline against the same team. Considering it was a friendly, though, I mean it's kind of hard to get excited, right? Because I mean, let's just say this was the Champions League. You know damn well we'll be decimated about 4-0. You know, so that being said, I mean, shout out to Okafor. I mean, he's done a great job there. Dear. Um, Sorry, I'm getting trolled here as well. My fucking washing machine. Um, Shout out to Okafor because he's doing a great job for putting himself on the market so he can be sold for probably less than he was bought for. And then we can go off and get, a player to replace him. Leao was good. I like seeing Leao in that game. It just shows, games like this are always, I think, interesting. If we were playing against Premier League sides, I think we would have some decent levels of success. But the thing is we're playing against teams in Serie A that actually, understand tactics and defensive play. So we're not going to be getting the open spaces that Leao got in that Liverpool game. That being said, good results, but it's kind of what do you read into? I mean, considering that we beat Real Madrid and Inter last year and finished 8th and got dumped out of the fucking Champions League by who's it? Feyenoord. So
Final. And what was the other? Is a Serbian team, I think, like that, right? What was the
the
game for that?
Croatian was it? It was
Red
oh, it
Star.
was
Red
it
Star
was
Belgrade.
Red
Was it?
Star, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it for the game. What I saw is that the counter attack can work, and if I see the press, so Liverpool they did presses, and that created a bit of space. There were some clever moments, and I like the fact that even Okafor was really going for it, and he was, with that slip up with Allison, and he managed to take the ball and essentially score. So I didn't see that coming, but it happened. Yeah.
This is a fair point, just like Gorilla mentioned it, right? So British media point out that Liverpool were just interested in one thing, seeing a couple of signings play British media, right? Because they'd never ever make one of their puppies look, British media were still saying shit like that, right? When, English teams were getting fucking decimated by Serie A teams in the late 90s. Oh, it was just enough decade. Right? Fuck the British media. But also, no team in Serie A will play that high line. That's a valid point. Like when are for Allegri ball for that, right? I think the Liverpool game was perfect. But the thing is like, we're gonna have to be very clinical to pull that off in the Serie A. Can you see this team doing that? I can't. To play that type of counter-attacking football.
Yeah, you're right, and also the dynamics then change with depending on the striker, right? Because that's one player leading the attack that you don't know what he's going to do. If this is a guy that's just holding back, then what counter attack are we then talking about? Yeah, we're just going to be like again, and I saw this a lot during the Arsenal game. Once we get to the final third, we lost for ideas. Then it turns into passing around the back. Then by that time, Arsenal has their a complete defense lined up. So I honestly don't know how we're going to handle that. I've always said this, that I think the transition for this team is not great, nowhere near great. Meaning that we can recover the ball, then it will be a 100% luck if we manage to score from that or from capitalizing on the other team's mistake.
Hosni,
Because our transition,
can I ask you a question? And I want everyone in the chat for that. I want to get their input as well, and in the comments if you're watching it later on. So if we do end up getting Blahovic, who'll somehow magically agree to half his salary and come to a club with no project, right? Do you see him starting over Jimenez?
I think yes. Because you have to keep in mind is that who is bringing this player across. If it's Allegri saying that I want Vlahovic, that means he wants Vlahovic and he wants Vlahovic to play. Jimenez, by the way, I think Jimenez is a good player. No doubt he's not. We're not really taking a chance on him. You know what he can do. We've seen it before. But in a team that is dysfunctional and underperforming, he's also going to be that player that's caught in that crossfire. Vlahovic, if he can truly rediscover his form, and we've also seen what Vlahovic can do, that will be an amazing signing. But I don't know how it's been since he's been in Juve. So yeah, it's not been great. He's not been leading up the top scorer charts. Maybe it's a mentality issue. Maybe he just can't be bothered after making it to Juve. There's some players like that. Yeah, once they've made it to big club, that's as good as they can get. But even for Jimenez, you're going to need someone that gives him competition, right? You can't just be Jimenez and the next guy after that is, you wouldn't trust him completely. And we don't have Colombo. Not to say that Colombo would even have given Jimenez a run for his money, but we don't have the second string guys that we saw from last season, like Jovic and Tammy.
I think it was harsh.
So it's going to be Jimenez going up. Yeah.
I think considering what Jovic was, I think it's very harsh considering that they've gotten rid of Camarda as well, right? I think it was very harsh that they got rid of Jovic because you seem to have a player that I think would be happy being a third string striker, right? When he was called upon, he often, especially towards the end, he often did a good job. I think it was very harsh that they got rid of him. I wouldn't see him as a second striker, but I mean, if you have a guy here that you know is working, right, in his role, why would you dump him out? You would keep him. I don't understand why they got rid of Jovic. As much shit as I gave him.
Maybe he didn't want to stay and be that third guy. But even with Jovic, he had his moments, but I never really trusted him to be available for the game when we needed him. I mean, he can be third in line in the order, but when you really need to call on him and he's injured,
Yeah.
We've always said this before that sometimes the best ability is availability, and I don't see it with Jovic.
Well, that was always the thing with Jovic. I think if your career track is you ball out in Germany, and then you get moved over to Real, and then you don't make it at Real for whatever reason, which, look, some players can't, right? It's too big of a football club. You get that, right? But then you end up like in Fiorentina and you're not making it there either. I think at some point you'd kind of have to start asking questions about the player's mentality at that point. Maybe it was just a mentality issue, but I mean, the longer I sit with it, I'd kind of put it on management, saying that we literally we don't need depth in any position this year because we're only realistically playing for the Serie A. So if we can get by with just like 2 players for every position, that'll do us.
Yeah, 2 players that are not too injury prone. I mean, that would be great.
Yeah. I mean, and for some reason then Modric fucking got into the equation. As great as a player he is, but 40 years old, what are you hoping for, really?
But I don't know what's the plan behind Modric. Maybe if you talk about the top half of the
Sell
table, if
jerseys,
you
I
need
think.
Modric to only play, yep, sell jerseys number one. I mean, that's got to be like number one priority for this management.
Mhm.
But all Modric needs to do is to show up in big games. Everyone else, and I know this is a tall ask as well, if they can handle the mid and lower ranked teams, we we're doing well already. So it's just around against these big teams. I think we worry way too much.
I think Modric is going to be more key for what he brings in the locker room, which is it's going to be a sense of responsibility and having a cool head, right? Because he's won everything basically, but he's also done that in a you know in a Real Madrid squad, which is you know every player is another level, right? And we're hoping that he'll recreate that
Credit
with
to him,
RLC and Musa,
even in
you know.
even in that Real Madrid squad, he still shines. I mean, credit to the man
Yeah,
himself. Yeah.
true, true. Gone for Luque. I know, but Napoli went for Luque Fahadinho, and they got him.
So we have this question from Lab. Do you think Okafor is not sold?
Nice old.
I have a theory behind this. Is that if we don't get Vlahovic, maybe Okafor will stay. Think about it. Yeah, we can't get
Oh
another
God,
striker.
can you imagine? Like, and the thing is it's not. I'm convinced there's definitely a player in Okafor somewhere, but the thing is Okafor. It seems to be a physical conditioning problem with Okafor. It's kind of similar to.
What puzzles
Sorry, yeah.
what puzzles me is that some many of these players, they come in with such hype, with such street cred. When I say street cred, means that reputation wise,
Mm.
no, everyone's just hopeful. Yeah, there's no one has too much of a doubt. But as soon as they join us, I mean, it's such a decline. It's like falling off a cliff. I mean, look at some of our signings from last season.
Morata comes to mind.
Not even 6 months, and we're already looking to offload them. Not even 1 year, and they've barely played. And these are players, people we pay for. I mean, we actually go to the club and say that, hey, I want this guy. It's not like some free transfer that no one wants and no one's even heard of. These are players that we actually want. And I know this is down to the management and their so-called scouting, if whatever you can call it that, or some random thing that they do.
It's a.
But it's
Yeah, but you see, Hosni's even. It shows you how stupid this management are, though. Even just talking about it on a human level. Because if you think about it, right? So everyone knew that Morata can score goals, right? However, everyone should also know that Morata cannot handle criticism and will basically shrink away into the corner if things aren't going well.
no, you mean just fall over and sit on
Just
the floor
follow
during
pretty
a game,
much,
right?
right? So is bringing a player like that to a club with no leadership and no one willing to take any responsibility at players, or like if you have someone that shies away from taking responsibility, right, a player, is it a good idea to take that player to a club where the management and ownership are not accepting responsibility, and therefore that's pushed down to the coach and pushed down to the players? The answer is no. So even on a human level, right, we're dealing with ownership and management here that just aren't that smart.
But what's difficult for me is that to believe and of course see that these players, some of them are so frail, is that you're paying good money and you're part of the national team and you start for the national team and you still do things like this. It's
Yeah.
it's tough for me to
Yeah,
accept.
but the thing is, and whatever about Morata, it's well documented. Like he's gone on record about saying that he does suffer from depression. It's a very serious disease. mental disease. I know a lot of people go through it, and all this. But the thing is it's not like it's undocumented that he maybe doesn't have a killer mentality because of that, right? So what you can't bring players that aren't mentally resilient into a club where, just like Angelo says, there's no project and there's no vision past this season. Because you can't bring people that have that don't have a killer instinct like that into a club where there's basically no accountability and it's pushed upon the person that has these issues. That's the issue, because it's probably through no fault of his own, right? Because it's a serious illness. But you can't put someone in that position and expect them to do well. It's no surprise he went to fucking Turkey after 6 months. Probably couldn't wait to get out the fucking place, because he's gone like, I'm getting it from the fans. I'm probably getting it from the coach as well. There's no protection from anywhere. Why the fuck am I going to stay here?
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I guess not to pin it all on him, everyone was underperforming last season, and yeah, 2 coaches down later. Yeah, it's the cracks are everywhere. It's not 1 or 2 individuals. It's not just the management, apparently. So even though a big part of it is due to them, but everyone has shared blame.
But the thing is, we have a serious coach now. But even though we have a serious coach, and I'm fucking telling you guys, Allegri is a serious coach. Allegri is a serious coach, right? It's the first serious coach we've had, and as I've said it, but I'll say it again. First serious coach we've had since Allegri, right? So he's a serious fucking coach, right? And he knows what he's doing. But the thing is like it's this penny pinching bullshit tactics. Max called it out on one of his pods there. If it wasn't the last one, it was the one before. Check them out. MLM podcast, please. Always great content. Him and Gino. Subscribe to them after you fucking like and subscribe to us, please. But he called it out and he was like, it's this, this kind of bullshit penny pinching tactics, right? That they get up to. Like everyone else resents it, and then they wonder then why just no one wants to deal with them. This fucking management, this ownership. It's just they're those type of cunts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, everyone sees through the facade now. I'm not saying now, but even from before, we see it in this Jashari deal, right? Again, we're playing the game. We spoke about this weeks ago. Yeah, you're playing a game and people can see right through it.
No, they can.
You want a low ball? Okay.
No, but they can, Hosni. But the thing is, it's nearly the same amount, right? It's the same amount that CDK was bought for, nearly, right? From the same club. They tried the same thing with the same club. Got told to fuck off once. In other words, they tried lowballing, right? Everyone else came in for CDK. CDK said, no, fuck this, I want to go to Milan, right? And they ended up just meeting the price anyway. So 2 years later, same club, same situation, different player. Try lowballing, right? Going in. They wonder then why the club says, fuck you, right? And then, we end up in the same situation. And it's like this like, I couldn't give a shit about how high they've excelled in their career, guys, right? This management ownership, this level is very fucking stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? Because no one, like a dog, right? A dog, right? You can teach a dog things, right? And a dog will probably learn after once or twice. Oh, if I take food off the table and if I get a slap, not that you should ever hit dogs, of course. But like if I go and try and get food off the table and if I get a tap on my nose, right, I shouldn't take food off the table. Right, that's a dog, and you can teach a dog that after 2 or 3 times, right? But this ownership, right, don't understand it. If I try the same tactic with the same club that told me to fuck off the first time, they're probably not going to like it the second time. Less likely that they're going to like it because I fucked them over the first time. This is literally the level of retardation that that we're
Yeah, I
working with.
mean, you'd expect that with management like that, and apparently with impressive resumes, that
It
they're
doesn't.
well versed in the art of deal
No, but
making. But it seems that
the
they're
thing is, though, Husni, this
they,
is the
they
thing. Though.
see it when it's being played.
This is the thing. There's different levels of intelligence. Some of the most intelligent people I've talked to have not had PhDs or anything like that, but they're just they have it. They have a spark of intelligence. But like a business degree from Harvard or from anything like that doesn't mean that you have people skills and you understand how people work. And you understand what people actually, how people will react if you treat them in a specific way. Furlani's showing that.
Yeah, well, we probably know that for Lani and for those who went to some prestigious schools, maybe there's someone else wrote the application. Maybe he paid someone to do his assignments. I'm starting to question all of it now. I mean, like, are these real people? I mean, for the case of Moncada, did his Chat GPT subscription like end? Did he forget to renew it before the season ended? I gotta ask these things. Even for the case of Taried, maybe he didn't know what happened with the club before he joined. Maybe he thought that, oh, this is just a mid-table club, and this is basically how the way things happen,
I'll give
without knowing that it happened to Maldini a few seasons
I'll
ago, and
give
maybe cost him his
I'll
job.
give Tara somewhat the benefit of the doubt here, right? Because I think what he's going in with is I think his intentions are true and good. I've seen nothing about Tara that's telling me that he's a bullshitter. And I think he genuinely wants what's best for the club. And I think he's trying to do that, right? But the thing is with Tara,
You know what I think happened, Shane?
yeah.
He went to Forlani to get funds for the deal, and Forlani said, like, "Hey, just try to lowball them, see how it works." maybe, maybe that's how it happens.
But there's no learning there, though. It's like the club is not just going to magically turn around and go, "Oh yeah, we'll accept whatever bid that you send us," because oh yeah, you're the same club that fucked us over last time for CDK, right? Oh yeah, sure, we'll accept a lowball offer. When is this ever going to happen? People remember things. People were just human animals. We react towards, if someone brings a situation to me that I don't like, I'm not going to turn around and go, I'll do a favor for you next time. I'm going to say, go, no, you go and fuck yourself. I remember what you did to me last time. This is how human beings work.
But the Shane, is that Forlani's learning ended with the last scrap of paper that he found in Maldini's trash bin.
This must be it.
All the targets, all the notes came from him dumpster diving after Maldini
This
packed
must
his
be the same
bags.
thing.
So he went crawling through all the garbage, all the scraps of paper, trying to find any name. This is how Forlani learned how to survive the transfer window.
But so Fahadinho was so Fahadinho said I would sell Chukwueze. I'd fire Chukwueze into the sun at this point. He's not offering much. If Okafor and Pabega goes to Bologna, I would include Arcelini in the deal. There we go. I'd have Arcelino over Chiesa, fair dues. Okay. I'd take Chiesa. Fuck it, I'd take Chiesa and Arcelini. But again, it's not none.
I would take Chiesa too,
Yeah.
If you were to drop Chukwueze, get Chiesa, I mean, what an upgrade that would be.
That's it. Just like it's an upgrade. Italian. So it's not without his issues. But that being aside, yeah, I'd take Chiesa in the morning. But then Arcelini as well wouldn't be a bad one. Angelo, so this is on the subject of refusing offers, basically. So when I was talking about Bruges, CDK, and then Jashari, so we did the same shit to Chelsea when they tried to lowball for Mike. We did, and that's because it was an insultingly low offer.
We even thought Napoli lowballed this for Musa.
That's
when that was a high ball.
The levels of insanity. If someone is offering you money for Musa, that's more than you paid for Musa. After Musa's played for you for like 2 years and being shit, That's your get out of jail free card at that point.
Yeah, this management doesn't realize is that the next transfer for Musa, you probably have to pay them to take him.
This is it.
That's the only way it goes after this.
And I couldn't give a shit about Napoli or anyone else, right? Or Conte, right? If there is no feasible way that you can make Musa into a football player. There's not. He's not good at anything.
Oh, here's the interesting take. Chiesa is not an upgrade on anyone,
He's an upgrade on Chuck.
regardless.
I think he's an upgrade on Chuck, man. I think that's a bit harsh on Chiesa. Keep in mind, Chuck
Yeah, well,
is not.
maybe Ricardus is onto something, because if Chiesa really was the player that he was before all those injuries and all that, or maybe the Fiorentina Chiesa, if I can say that, then maybe he wouldn't have a problem with Liverpool.
Gurnardi, true. Gurnardi, I believe the person who gave the valuation and take the valuation for Musa, or is that who's Henrik Almstedt? I don't know. Is he one of us, or is he? Are we talking about Jashari and Bruges? No idea who that is. Anyway, Fadini as well. Don't forget the Xerxes saga too. And again, it was the same. You know, low ball bullshit, money ball tactics, and then we ended up without Xerxes. Which looking back in it now, we might say, well, look, he's been unproductive in Man United, right? But I mean, Man United's a shit club. I'm sorry, but now, right? Man United for the last decade have been failing, and just aggressively failing at everything, right? It's you don't go to Man United to play football. You go to earn a wage. So, like, I mean, if he came back to Serie A, I mean, I'd love to see him be dangerous again. I'd take Cersei as a backup. I'd take him over Vlahovic. I think he's worth the punt, man, because we've seen that he can do it before. I think fuck it. I mean, that's probably a player I go for when I think about it.
Yeah, you're right. So if you go for a profile like Xerxes, you can expect a player that will grow. So you know what he's already capable of doing.
Yeah.
And
he
should
might
be able
surprise
to
you
get
more,
better.
right?
Yeah. With a player like Vlahovic, everyone just praying he returns to his former self, which I think is infinitely more difficult than a player who's just trying to get better.
But Juve fans were praying for that for years, wasn't he? You know, this is the thing. So Man U's a dumpster fire, almost like Milan. Ricardus, it is indeed. The thing is, at least Milan fans can say this. We are in this situation because we are broke as fucking useless, and our ownership is useless. Right? Man United fans can only say that we're in this situation because our ownership is useless. It's not because they're broke as fuck, or they haven't been spending obscene amounts of money. They've been sending. It's literally, that's what a club with no project and too much money looks like. We're a club with no project and no money. There's a difference. At least we can blame it on the no money. Man U don't have that luxury, and that doesn't make it feel better either, because I'd rather Man U than Man City if I had to pick. Anyway, okay. I have to go before I piss myself.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone else for joining in the chat. We had Lab, Gurnardi, Ricardus, Fardino. Let's see who else.
And John,
Angelo. Max was there as well. So yeah, and QTR875. Don't know who you are. Once again, if any of you really want to get in touch with us, do drop us a DM, and yeah, we'll be sure to include you guys in. I thank everyone for joining us. Whether you are listening after this to an Apple Podcast or Spotify, whatever social media that we have, we very much appreciate it. And yeah, on to the next episode. After which, maybe against Perth Glory, we're playing in Australia. Hopefully, that'll be another win. and we will see more of the team and how we then shape up
Kim
at the
will be
eventual
going to
start of the
that, I
season.
wonder.
I'm not so sure. Kim, I don't think he was in chat, but yeah, we'll reach out to him in the group.
It's Fahadinho, he can piss and come back. I can, Fahadinho, but I also want to go and eat dinner. 'Cause I've been up.
And check on your time machine.
I've been up since 5 a.m. and I was at the gym for 2.5 hours. I'm fucking wrecked. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, everyone. Yeah. Anything else, Shane?
No, let's just remember all the reasons why we love this club, and remember that, you know, we can rediscover the joy of why we started supporting this club by no longer supporting this club and supporting Como. So that's the best thing that you can do. Everyone just start supporting Como because they are going places. Fuck this club. I'm only joking. I still love Milan. I love the entity. I don't love the ownership, but God bless, we will get through it, and one day Furlani will be gone and so will Redbird. Let's just cling on to that.
Yeah, and with that, all the ambition and success that comes with it when they go.
All right.
All right. Thanks everyone. Thanks again for joining us, and yeah, as always, Forza Milan.
Forza Como.
Che comunque il calcio è imprevedibile e le cose non sono mai scontate, quindi è anche la bellezza, no, di questo sport.
Io rappresentavo per questa squadra, era quello che non mollava mai, quello che doveva fare stare sempre su il morale, ma io mi ci trovavo bene perché sono sempre stato uno che mi piaceva dare fuoco ai miei compagni, caricarli prima delle partite.
Il mio sogno di essere avverato è uno dei sogni dei bambini, di tanti bambini.
Il gol è un qualcosa per la gente che riusciamo a fare diventare matti, riusciamo a fare diventare felici e contenti.
Con questa maglia devo veramente fare una